Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. Today, as the title said, I'm going to be trying out and reviewing, doing a wear test on the Benefit Boing concealer. I think that's how you pronounce it, because I also have this says it's the brightening concealer, but I use this for like an under eye corrector, and it says the same thing, Boing. Looks like a little eraser. And I have this shade, number 2. Funny enough, because I have this in number 2 also. And this is supposed to be a cakeless concealer. Full coverage cakeless concealer. So obviously I have mature skin, and obviously my under eyes crease a little. Not too much considering. Like I said, if I drink enough water, the creasing is not so intense. But I know when I'm dehydrated because my eyes crease like pretty intense. So it's really cute. And it comes in about, looks like a pencil. Isn't that so cool? It comes in, I want to say, let me check. I think it's like 17 shades, but 2 of the shades are have a little X through it, so I don't know if those shades are not available. But and it retails for $22. So let's just see how it works. You know, every brand has come out with its own version of Tarte Shape Tape comparable to that. And this one has a little smaller applicator. It's not quite as big as the Tarte Shape Tape concealer. I'm going to pair it up with my Hello Happy foundation just because it is also Benefit. And this foundation is a medium coverage. You can build it up. I did put it on. I think I used it in one of my last videos with a sponge, and I'm actually going to use it with my Morphe M439 brush. This is one of my favorite foundation brushes, and I'm just going to squirt one pump onto the brush. And I've already primed my face using my Tatcha the Silk Canvas primer because that is my favorite. I did color correct my under eye using my NYX color corrector, and I want to say this shade is Papaya. Only because it looks like the Becca under eye corrector that they have in Papaya. And I got mirrors everywhere, but none of them are close enough. I have a pimple here, which means one of the brushes or sponges that I'm using is dirty. So that's the only time I usually will break out with any type of a pimple. Or I do have larger pores. I've been using this Neutrogena Shine. It's Shine and Pore Minimizing face wash. And it works pretty good. I've just incorporated it with my morning routine, cleansing routine. And so that was one full pump. When I use a full pump of the Huda foundation or Marc Jacobs, definitely is just like a dot and it goes all over your face. But when I use the amount of foundation that I just used of the Huda foundation, I just like to use that foundation as a comparing foundation amongst the many foundations that I have. That pump would have covered my entire face. I mean, easily, and I always have something left over. So obviously this video is not about this foundation, but I'm just, if you guys get this Hello Happy foundation, just know that you do have to use about a pump and a half to cover your entire face. having to be careful going around the eyebrows because I did clearly already do my eyes. Did my eyes. And I'm sitting in natural sunlight, and I'm pretty sure, or maybe not, I know I said I was going to be doing a beauty room renovation, and I was going to go to IKEA and pick up some makeup drawers just because the stuff that I have in here, I told you guys, is bulky, and not all of it, but some of it is bulky. I could put some stuff in my closet and utilize that space. It's just I haven't really, when I moved here, I just kind of set everything in a place, and I was just so exhausted, and there's just always something going on. So like I'm either emotionally drained or I'm physically drained, and I just haven't really had the energy to put into fixing up my beauty room. It looks nice. I'm definitely grateful and content that I even have a room for putting makeup on, much less just a space. So, it's definitely, a blessing to have that. I'm very grateful, but noticing the background, you'll see that I haven't really done much different to my beauty room. I'm going to take just a tiny bit on this little brush because you guys know I like to go around my brows with the foundation because nobody likes separation or harsh lines around the brows or the jawline. And has anybody tried this concealer? And what are your thoughts on it? I know every time a new concealer or foundation comes out, I can't keep up with it, obviously. But I do try to get it into my hands when it comes into the stores because, when you're watching YouTube and everybody has it, it's because they got it, in PR, and we gotta wait. Us little peasants have to wait until it comes out into the stores. So yeah, that. So now I'm going to go in with the Boing concealer, and don't want to go in with too much. It's pretty creamy. It's a little thick, thinner consistency than the Tarte Shape Tape. And I did prime my under eyes using my Smashbox primer, just because that does decrease some of the creasing. And I'm just putting it where I normally put my concealer. You saw my skin before. You guys know I have a lot of discoloration and hyperpigmentation. And I'm just going to go in with this sponge. It doesn't even really have a name. I just thought I would try it because it came with a brush kit that I got from Ross or TJ Maxx. I think it was Ross. And it's pretty soft. And it's still damp from yesterday. I was going to dampen it, but it's actually still a little bit damp from yesterday, which means it's probably, the humidity is probably intense in my beauty room or just in the house in general. So I'm going to tap it out with this sponge. And as you saw, I focused the majority of the product right in here because that's really where I need the most coverage, and then just tapping it out towards my hairline. My dark circles are kind of intense. does tend to dry down kind of fast, so you don't really have a lot of play time. But seems to be blending out pretty good. The pimple is going to bother me. I need to get something on it ASAP. The sponge is kind of hard. It's soft for just a generic sponge, but it's not as soft as maybe a Beauty Blender or a Real Technique sponge. And I believe they said you don't have to set this concealer. It's already creasing. It's creasing big time, especially under this eye. Okay, well, needless to say, I'm dehydrated. I really am dehydrated, you guys. I think I've drank about, probably within the past 2 days, probably about 16 ounces of water, and no, that's horrible. That could be why it's creasing. I don't know if you could see. It's like creasing right in here. So because it's creasing so bad, I think I am going to set it. I wasn't going to set it, but I'm lightly going to set it just because it's creasing already and I just put it on. I don't want it to get cakey. So I am going to lightly set it with, I'm going to use the Old Faithful Laura Mercier just because I don't want to try any new powder on this. Should I just try the sponge? So I'm just going to take that, shake off the excess, and I'm going to set it from outer to inner because I want as little product and powder on the inner just to avoid further creasing. You hear everything tipping over here. You know what my beauty area looks like. I just figure, you know what? I call it the lab. Like, I'm in my lab right now, and I'm like a lab technician, and stuff's just going to be laying around, you know? At least it's like right here. The mess is just like right here. It's not over my entire room. Okay, I think setting it helped. I think setting it definitely helped. It's got some pretty good full coverage. You can kind of see a little bit of a dark circle peeking through right here. I should have added a tiny bit more product before I set it, but I didn't. So, woo, let's see what these eyes look like in about 4 hours. I'm really sad because I have tried every concealer that comes out. I literally have, and like I said, if I stay hydrated, it's my own fault. Being dehydrated, that's my own fault. Like, I know that my eyes, my under eye creasing is decreased by a lot, when I'm hydrated. So I know that not staying hydrated it's been a choice, and it's just been me being lazy and me drinking too much soda and too much like teas and stuff like that. So I definitely need to intake some water today and see if it makes a difference. Yeah, I don't know if you guys could tell, but it doesn't really look cakey right now. It just looks a little bit dry. So I'm going to finish off the rest of my makeup, and I will be right back. Yeah. So now I am back with a full face of makeup, and yeah, I don't have, it still looks the same as when I set it. I didn't add any more powder to the under eye area. I did not set my makeup, so I'm gonna go ahead and just set it. I'm gonna do what I normally do. I'm gonna use my Urban Decay All Nighter. It stinks. It smells horrible, but it works really good. Oh, this is one of my favorite things to do. I am wearing clothes, by the way. I'm not naked. I have this little dress on. It's like a little half dress romper type thingy. So it is, let's see what time it is. It's 3:12, and I'm going to wear this. Let's see, I've had this concealer on since 2:30. I plan on probably wearing it for about a full 8-9 hours. So I'm going to come back about 6:30 and let you guys see what the concealer looks like. And we can also just see what the foundation in combination with the concealer looks like at that point. And we'll see if it's like one of my, my go-tos. So we shall see. So I'll see you guys here in just a few minutes. Hi guys. Okay, so it is 7:25. So I've had this concealer and foundation on for a little over 4 hours. And this is what it looks like. This is the current situation. I'm always a little bit oily right here. That light really intensifies it, but I really didn't set my foundation. I set the under eyes, but I didn't really set the foundation. So this is what the foundation looks like. The Benefit Happy Foundation and the Boing concealer, the Cakeless concealer. So yeah, it is looking a little bit like it's settled in my fine lines. I'm going to just tap it. This eye isn't as bad as this eye. Can you see? It's really not too bad. It's nothing that a little bit of tapping won't do. I don't think I would add any more powder anyway, just because, and then I'll just tap away that. And I'm not using any powder right now. I'm just literally using the sponge just to absorb some of that oil. I had lipstick on earlier, but I ate dinner. I had corn on the cob, you guys. So I might have some corn in my teeth. I don't know. So I don't want to be opening my mouth too wide. Looks like I have a little piece of corn or butter in my hair. Happens. I have to do this when I'm eating corn on the cob. Like, you literally have to put your hair up in a bun. But anyway, guys, this is what it looks like right now. This is after 4.5 hours. And I think it's holding up pretty good considering the creasing and the fine lines. So I plan on wearing this for 3 more hours. So I will check back around 10:30 or so, and we'll see what the final results and what my thoughts are on said concealer and foundation. So I will see you guys in about 3 hours, and camera time like 2 seconds. So okay, so now we are back for the third and final check-in. So this is what my under eyes are looking like. I don't know if you can see. It did settle a little bit more into my fine lines. It's almost the same as when I checked in at 7. But I mean, I can see it. I'm super dehydrated, you guys. Like I said earlier. And because this is a self-setting concealer, if you do decide to set it, just go in with the slightest amount of powder. And I think the best powder, the best setting powder, and because I have it, I got it in my BoxyCharm last month, is the Becca translucent hydrating setting powder. I think that's going to be your best bet in setting just anything that's self-setting, whether it's foundation or concealer. But this is a really good full coverage concealer. I am pretty pleased with it. I will definitely continue to use it because it didn't really cake too bad. I mean, I know that I'm dehydrated, so I know that that's why there's a little bit more creasing than usual. But considering the amount of dehydration that I have, and considering that I do have some under eye creasing because I do have mature skin, and you know, I'm not 20 or 25, and even some 20-25-year-olds do suffer from premature creasing, or just they have that hereditary creasing, which has to be horrible. I am going to be getting some fillers. I don't know when, so I can only imagine how amazing any concealer is going to look under my eyes. Everybody has mixed feelings about, you know, Botox or injections of any type. I'm not going under the knife, you know, yet. But yeah, so I'm going to be getting some fillers pretty soon. So my creasing isn't too bad considering, you know, I'm over 50. I mean, let's be real. And the foundation held up pretty well with it. I think it was a good idea pairing the two together because they both were Benefit products. And I do look a little bit dewy, and it's not oil, it's dewy. And I think the reason for that is that this foundation is hydrating. So I do not mind a dewy finish. And it really didn't start off too dewy, but it really wasn't matte either. So it was like in between. But right now, I actually like the way my skin looks because it almost is like a glowing type. It doesn't look like a grease pit, you know, like you just fried French fries, you know, on your face. I really do like this. It's happiness. Happiness is a brighter, hydrated, flawless looking complexion. So, I really like this foundation. It definitely has hyaluronic acid in it, and that helps keep your skin hydrated. So I'm thinking maybe I'm going to try putting this all over my face, including my under eyes, and instead of using a concealer, just lightly, maybe not as heavy as if I'm going on all over my face, but just like lightly under my eyes, like if I was applying concealer, because it is hydrating, to see. I'm going to try that tomorrow. And then if I have to go in with the slightest amount of concealer, I will add it to it. But I think I'm going to try doing my entire face, including my under eyes, with this because it is hydrating. Also, the Becca translucent setting powder, the new one, the hydrating one, I think that would be an excellent setting powder to use for any self-setting products, concealer, foundation, whatever, lightly. You always want to go in light. as light as you can at first, and try to work with as least amount of powder as possible, because like I've said before, powder will age you. Whether you're young or you're older, it's gonna age you. So you have to really find a balance with using setting powders, and the amount of setting powders that you're using, and be really careful around your eyes, because our eyes are so thin. The skin around our eyes is so thin, so sensitive, that if you just, you know, put a little bit too much powder, you could really destroy your look, and just it becomes cakey, and at that point there's nothing else you can do other than to just maybe wipe it off. Also, a little tip is, if you really suffer from under eye creasing and dryness, and I don't know whether it's day or night, or whether you're just home and experimenting, get a tiny bit of any type of oil, like maybe a tiny bit of coconut oil, or a tiny bit of argan oil, anything that's not going to like leave spots and like actually wipe off your makeup. Just the slightest bit amount on your skin, and just like wipe it off, and then just lightly tap under your eye, back and forth like that. Don't sweep, and just tap it. You will actually see those lines in the settling will disappear for a period of time, just to buy time. And then just periodically, obviously throughout the night, you might have to just continue to tap it and work out those fine lines. But yes, I give this concealer a 9 out of 10 and a 4.5 stars out of 5 stars. I think it's a really good concealer. I think you guys should give it a try. Whether you suffer from dry or oily skin, I don't think it really makes a difference under your eyes. Just depending on how you set it or don't set it is, you know, personal preference. So anyway, you guys, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it helpful. I think you should give it a try. And also the foundation, I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to use this under my eyes and see what kind of results I get. I'll let you guys know. But anyway, leave your questions, comments, and suggestions down below. Give me some ideas. Let me know if you've tried these products and how you like them, and if there's any products that you would recommend that I try. I do have combination skin, a little bit more oilier up in here, and just kind of throughout it's kind of dry around this area. And as we age, our skin does get drier. So but I've been doing pretty good, you guys, maintaining my skin's health, trying to stay hydrated, using, you know, really good products on my skin, not, you know, stretching and rubbing my eyes, and just taking your makeup off very carefully, with the lightest amount. Always using a makeup oil remover like the Clinique. Take the Day Off, that's my #1. And then the Green Clean by Pharmacy, I have to restock that. That's a really good makeup remover, and you always want to just go in and just use that stuff before you go in with a makeup wipe, because I mean, I've done it, but I've seen girls, you know, with the makeup wipes, and they're just like, you know, stretching and pulling, and we have to tug on our skin minimal, if any. Be very careful around your eyes, because the skin stretches, and sometimes if it stretches, it might not go back. So just be very careful with your skin. Always use your ring finger when you're doing anything around your eyes. It does have the lightest touch for putting serums or moisturizers or even concealers. If you're using your fingers, just be very careful. Make sure your hands are clean. And so yeah, that's gonna do it. So I will see you guys in my next one. I don't know what video will be next. It's always a surprise, because I surprise myself. So I love you guys, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.